I have met Transylvanian Hounds for the first time 5 years ago, when we decided to have a dog. My goal was to have a dog breed which has a past and traditions, and this is how I found the Transylvanian Hounds. I and my family fell in love with the magnificent outlook, the past and the qualities of these dogs, and we decided to have them. As I am a historian, and this is why I was very much interested in their history, and fortunately, by nowadays, we know quite much about it. They are first mentioned in Latin language chronicles in 1237, and for the second time in 1361. Their golden age was the Middle Ages, when hunting with hound packs was an everyday part of the noble ruling class and the king as well. If they had quests, hunting was the main form of entertainment at that time, and these dogs were an inseparable part of this activity. In the courts of the noblemen, they usually kept 50 to 80 Transylvanian hounds to serve these purposes, and used them mainly on wild boar hunts. The endless forests of the Transylvanian region was ideal for this type of hunts for long centuries. The turning point in their history was the first decades of the 20th century, when Transylvania was annexed by the Romanian kingdom, and these dogs have become the symbols of the formerly ruling Hungarian noble class. They were classified by the Romanian state as harmful animals, and were shot down in big numbers. The recreational program of these dogs began in the 1960s, when some of those dogs, who were still alive, were imported to Hungary. They were accepted by the FCI in 1971, since then they are considered as the 9th Hungarian dog breed.
In my opinion, these dogs, in many respects different from the majority of the dog breeds. We usually SY for them that they are half dog and half human, because of their intelligence. As they have been hunting for long centuries, they have always been selected to be very independent and intelligent, and in their case, it was preferred that they can make a decision on their own, even if the owner, the hunter, was not close in a given situation. Their task have always been to seek for the game, mainly wild boars, to follow the boar for long miles, to stop the boar and signal with their special, high-frequency bark the location of them for the hunter, who could go to the scene and kill the boar. Because of their independent and problem-solving nature, the ideal owner should be able to handle this, and the energy level that is characteristic for these dogs. Monotony is not for this dog. The Transylvanian Hounds require tasks to be solved and fulfilled. Because of the things I mentioned earlier, they are not ideal for indoor keeping. They require space, territory, and frequent work or activities. As they have a very dense and strong undercoat, they can be kept outside even in cold winters. It is not a problem for them at all. The Transylvanian Hound is a very healthy dog with a long lifespan. The average lifespan is around 12 years, but many of our dogs lived more than 15 years, which is quite surprising with such a big-sized breed. It is important to emphasize that we can call them ideal family dogs, as usually they like to be close to children, and can handle them very cautiously. Somehow they usually feel that children are different from adults. My dogs, for example, always want to go closer to the children of other families as well, if we meet them during a walk. In Hungary presently there are about 1,000 registered Transylvanian Hounds. In an interesting way, because of their hunting abilities, they are becoming more and more popular in other countries as well. There is quite a big population of them in the USA, in the Netherlands, in the Czech Republic, in Germany, and in the Scandinavian countries. What is very interesting is that they are very popular in Greece, mainly in the Greek hunter community. The reason for this is that the Greek hunting style is probably the closest to the hunting methods what these dogs were selected and bred for.
If we are talking about hunting and the most widely used task of Transylvanian Hounds in hunting, this task is primarily wild boar pursuit, and secondarily blood tracking of injured game. Few know that the majority of Transylvanian Hounds are fantastic blood trackers, because they have very sensitive noses and because they are above the average persistent. Many of them are able to follow a blood track on the level of the Bavarian, or Hanoverian bloodhounds. We usually start to build up their working abilities when they are 8 to 10 weeks old, first, of course in a playful way, with boar legs and small blood tracks. During these training sessions it usually turns out whether the given dog would be better in pursuit, or in tracking. It can clearly be seen on their early performance. It is a new tendency that tracking partly became a kind of sports activity, not for hunters, as well. We sometimes see families practicing tracking with their dogs in the forests as a kind of recreational activity, of course, in cases like this, not with blood trails, but with some items the dog loves. When we practice with our dogs in wild boar gardens, we usually go into the territory with 2 dogs. We teach the dogs that if we are not on a hunt, they should not contact and harm the boars. In cases like this, they are not expected to bite the boars, but to chase them and stop them. This is what we try to build up in an artificial wild boar garden.
When we bought a pair of Transylvanian hounds, we decided that we would like to try our dogs on the field that once they were created for, and this is the hunting. After a while we noticed that we got into the middle of a completely new world, as since then, from November to the end of February, we take part in wild boar pursuits and chases. In this region in Central Europe, the Transylvanian Hounds is one of the rare breeds who, up to our days, can be used very effectively for big game hunting. If we are on a pursuit, if we let loose our dogs, they run like bullets through everything, even the most dense bushes and scrubs. The rear specialty of this dogs is their very high-frequency warning bark, what they use when they find the boar. They use this sound to send a signal to the hunter from even miles away that where the dogs and the wild boar are. When the wild boar gets tired, the hounds surround it and give continuous signals to the hunter, so that the hunter can find them and finish off the boar. These dogs have an outstanding stamina. On one hunting they are able to run 20 to 30 miles without any problem. They can easily stand that.
What we experience is that as their hunting abilities are being discovered again by the international hunting communities, more and more people would like to have a Transylvanian hound for himself. As they become popular, many people call us up to get information about them. As they are a special breed, with special requirements, and with a lot of energy, we usually tell all people who are interested in them what they should look for and how these dogs should be kept ideally. This is what we do to avoid misunderstandings and situations in which expectations and the reality do not match each other's.